Rugby in the UK was pitched into panic last week as the news many fans had long feared appeared to be coming true. Rugby Pass reported that the Six Nations, the Northern Hemispheres' most popular rugby competition, was set to disappear from free-to-air TV and go behind a paywall. It all started on Sunday night when the Rugby paper reported that the BBC looked set to be frozen out of negotiations for a contract renewal in 2026. Things escalated rapidly on Monday as Rugby Pass reported that subscription service TNT Sports had already secured the rights for the tournaments. But what followed was something of a climb down as both TNT and the Six Nations mobilised quickly to play down the reports. The Rugby Pass article was quickly reworded and TNT spokespeople were quoted in several outlets saying any deal between themselves and the Six Nations would be challenging. I have to say I did find it interesting how quickly those TNT quotes got out there. It's almost as if someone at TNT had briefed the press a week previously, but the story had been embargoed until the Tuesday. But of course for me to know that, someone would have had to tell me. This is a move that has been rumoured for several years now as Rugby scrambles to recover ever mounting financial losses. And now budget cuts at the BBC mean they cannot afford the rumoured £100 million per year contract to broadcast the Six Nations on free-to-air TV. In fact, the current broadcast deal already sees the BBC split broadcasting responsibilities with ITV in order to share the burden of the costs. The news has been met with outcry from the rugby public. The Six Nations is seen as a gateway into rugby. In fact, many fans' first ever experience watching rugby union on television will have been via the BBC's free-to-air coverage. For instance, 4.57 million people tuned in to watch Ireland versus England in the 2023 Six Nations, and it is feared that taking the tournament behind a paywall will shut the door to many potential new fans. There have been efforts in the past to register the Six Nations as a Group A protected tournament. This would mean that its free-to-air coverage would be protected via British law, but these efforts were always pushed back. As it happens, Welsh language broadcast of Wales matches is protected by law and is currently provided by free-to-air broadcaster S4C, which is owned by the BBC. It is understood that the subscription service most likely to land the Six Nations is TNT. TNT is owned by Discovery and costs £30.99 per month, making it more than 3 times as expensive as rival Premier Sports, who currently show the URC, the French Top 14, and have picked up coverage of the Champions and Challenge Cups this season. It is also vitally important to know what will happen to the Women's Six Nations and the Under-20s. Both of these tournaments are currently covered exclusively by the BBC, with the women's game in particular experiencing high levels of growth. Me personally, I would be massively against the Six Nations going behind a paywall. The first rugby match that I ever remember watching was the Six Nations on the BBC. I can confidently predict that without the BBC's free-to-air coverage, I would not have gotten into rugby. And I know a lot of other rugby fans feel the exact same way. But that is just my opinion. Let me know your opinion in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.